Here we can see a poster of the notorious Swiss SVP or UDC Nazi party, on which they honor and worship the Nazi Templar child killer Anders Breivik, the butcher from Utoya Island. Breivik claims to be part of a Knights Templar force of 80 men called KTE or Knights Templar Europe. Which also stands for the Nazi SS slogan Kameradschaft, Treue und Ehre, meaning comradeship, loyalty and honor. Yes, exactly. Nazis and Templars are and always were one and the same thing. Like KTE, Knights, Templars, Europe. Okay. And here it says it will happen, and that was before the Utoya thing. They knew something was going to happen. And their base is the Nazi Templar state of Switzerland. The last crusade was in 1291, and Aachen, the last stronghold of the Templars, fell on May 18th, 1291. And only 2.5 months later they founded Switzerland on August 1st, 1291. The time to get back on horseback to Europe from the Middle East and loaded with gold from the Pharaohs, with which the Swiss banks were founded, and the Templars' treasures hidden in caves in the Swiss mountains. See the Pharaoh show for more. And the Swiss Nazi Templars already financed Adolf Hitler, seen here on a rare picture of 1923 in Zurich, Switzerland, where he got 40,000 Swiss francs. Well, you can read it all here. Just put on pause and you can read it. Oh, this is Switzerland, eh? And the Swiss Nazi Templars most certainly financed and trained the Oslo Butcher. Both are Templars, Breivik, Quisling and the Swiss, and both fear and hate Islam. So before you could see his book, and this is the video he made, and he put it online just before he butchered all these poor kids. It's the Templars, it's the Swiss who are behind it. You want any more proofs? The horrific SVP Nazi Templar poster with Breivik was made by the Wallis or Valais section of the notorious Oskar Freisinger, which you can see here. He likes to be compared or taken for Mr. Hitler himself. Proud to be, you see. Who travels a lot internationally to meet up with the secret world of international Nazism and finance them when possible. This is how they met Anders Breivik. Okay. The degraded situation in Switzerland has become a menace to the world again, where all key positions in society are taken by SVP Nazis and no internationally agreed laws are being applied anymore. In Switzerland only their own set of Nazi Templar laws are being applied, so do not believe one single word of what the Swiss Nazi Templar Justice Department and their police says, even when they smile so innocently to you. It is 100% sure that the Nazi Templars of Switzerland are behind the Utoya massacre. But the children had to die for yet another geopolitical reason. You can read it here. Assassins being paid for the Swiss bankers or banksters. And the Swiss banks were founded by the Templars, of whom Mr. Breivik was part of. Now listen carefully. All present wars are about natural resources. And what's Norway's biggest mineral resource, which made the country the wealthiest in Europe? Yes, oil. But the Norwegian Workers' Party, to which the murdered children belonged to, decided that the oil belongs to all Norwegians to profit from it, no matter their social status or their bank accounts. So they had a university philosopher instead of an economist deal with the matter. And this is something the all-powerful Swiss Nazi Templar banks did not like at all. And this is how the Swiss Templars decided that the next generation of Norwegian socialists had to die because of the oil. Because like this, the Templars can't control nor manipulate the people anymore. If wealth and life comes for free and the wealth of the oil passes in front of the Templars' eyes without them having a cut of it. So I suggest that the very same philosopher explains to Breivik, instead of a policeman, of how they misused him in order to achieve a whole different set of goals. And the very moment Breivik will understands it all, and how he was misled, and why he was supposed to die too that day on Utoya, then he will give out all his secrets and all his contacts.
You don't? Your Majesty, may I present the infamous Simon Templar?
In the 60s there was a pharaonic television series called The Saint, alias Simon Templar, Simon the Templar, which refers to the notorious Templar butcher of the Crusades called Simon de Montfort, Simon de Montfort, meaning Simon of the Strong Mountains, whereas the Strong Mountains are of course Switzerland, their base, and where their valuables and famous Templars treasures are. The initials of Simon Templar are ST, as the famous ST1 on the number plate of his car. ST of course is short for Saint, a big S and a small T, like Saint Martin, you know, like. But Simon de Montfort was only a saint for the New World Order, Templars, Pharaohs, Masons and the Swiss, who are all the same in fact. To us he was a devil, a butcher and a child killer, just as the other Templar, Anders Breivik from Utoya Island. Templars are famous for butchering innocent children, you see. They always did these abominations, they did. It's therefore no wonder that Roger Moore, who played the Saint, lives in Switzerland, their base, and his father was a policeman of the Interior Army, the police force. The Queen made Sir Roger a Knight of the Pharaonic Templars Order, and Sir means sire, the king, which comes from the Pharaonic word Sar, S-A-R, like in Caesar. Watch the Pharaoh show. And only those of Pharaonic descent can enter the nobility of the Queen's knighthood. The Saint series always shows Pharaonic secret symbols as the sun hieroglyph here. There it is. And here on the door, two times vertically, and here on the door, and here on the cupboard. Well, don't you think that Sir Roger doesn't know, right? And there, and here where Superman punches someone through the wood in the cupboard. They want us to think that they are the heroes, but they are not. They just want us to go into wars, etc. And here another Pharaonic sun hieroglyph in white on the chimney. And here as well. Well, here we can see it better. There he goes, the hero. There it is. Oh boy, look at the floor. The Saint often plays, of course, in that base and mother of all evil, Switzerland, just as the other heroic Superman pictures, James Bond, whereas Sir Sean Connery is far from being a real Scot. Only pharaohs play these important roles, get knighted, and have so many hairs on their chests. And the Saint's author, Leslie Charteris, Charteris, in Pharaonic, claims to be a descendant of the Chinese emperors, who were not even Chinese but Mongolian. This is well known. And before that, pure Pharaonic, of course, as all nobility is. Whereas the word pharaoh comes from the words per-a, per-a, P-R-A, meaning the big house, or house big. The worldwide royal house of the pharaohs, our masters. Well, and look here. Here we can see the, this is the sun hieroglyph here. As in the Saints movies. So this is the lodge again here in Zollikofen in Switzerland. And the number 116, apparently it's all over at all the lodges. And like if you turn it around, like if you turn it around, you'll get what will work. Yeah, well, this is the lodge here in Switzerland. If you turn it around, the number 116, well, you get this here. And so why 116? Apparently many lodges are on the number 116. Well, I'll tell you why. Because that's the date 1160, and I was in the middle of the Crusades. And what happened 1160? The most important Templar got born. His name was Simon de Montfort. And what does it mean, Montfort? It means strong mountain. And where's the strong mountain? Well, it's here in Switzerland. And the one that's missing here, Les Neuf Sœurs, which they took away because of me, it's because of the 9 Templars. That's why it's Les Neuf Sœurs. Well, they're not sisters. Well, they were queers actually, with the Baphomet and all that.
And Simon de Montfort, so Simon of the Strong Mountains, his father was Simon de Montfort, and his son was Simon de Montfort as well, the fourth Earl of Leicester. And he was a real butcher. During the Fourth Crusade from 1202 to 1204, he butchered lots of people in Constantinople, which is Istanbul now. And he got very famous, notorious for butchering the Cathar people in southern France. So with this, he opened the two gates for bringing the Templars' treasure through the east or through the west into Switzerland, into the Montfort, so the Strong Mountains. So this guy is very, very much related to the foundation of Switzerland and the Templars. So this is why this number here. And if you turn it around, you get 911, 1160. Okay. Yeah, well, and this also is the temple that gave the so Les Neuf Sœurs, the nine Templars, that gave the Statue of Liberty, which is actually Isis. They gave it to well, we know whom, eh? And Mr. Simon of the Strong Mountains, so Simon of Switzerland, he was a part of the Dominicans as well, you know. He was a real butcher. And this is what they like in Switzerland, butchers, you know, financing wars and killing people all over. Like in the Second World War, they finance everything. So the Swiss like butchers. It's the home of the Templars. The biggest criminal organization there ever was. And this is actually what Hebrews and Muslims have in common. They were both butchered by the Templars. And it's both Swiss banks who come from the Templars that finance the dictators and that finance Adolf Hitler. So guys, team up. You've got a lot of things in common in the Middle East. This is the enemy. The Templars and Switzerland, their banks, their mercenaries, and Simon of the Strong Mountains. 9/11, they did it. So here is the lodge again on number 116, as in the year 1160, of Simon of the Strong Mountains. And here I took a picture a couple of years ago where we can still see the lodge, Voltaire aux Neuf Sœurs, the Nine Sisters, you know, giving a link to the Nine Templars, the original Nine Templars. Well, these queers probably call themselves sisters, as they abused of children and all that, you know, with the yeah. So it says number 116, you know, with the Baphomet thing. And here is one of the pamphlet, the posters, the Swiss made, you know, Nazi things, racist things by portraying foreigners in this one as black crows. You know, picking into the clean Switzerland, the Strong Mountains of Simon of the Strong Mountains, eh? And we already saw that they portrayed the foreigners as black sheep, as rats, as snakes, as well, a lot of other things. It's really horrible. This is the heart of Nazism. It is. You see, here's the temple again. There. So these guys are hiding something, eh? They took away the Nine Sisters, and the Nine Sisters were the ones that gave the Statue of Liberty to the ones on the other side of the dip. And here we can see how they play people out against each other. That's what they like, the Freemasons and the Swiss, eh? So their banks, their Templar banks, they can gain money on that. This is what they always do.
So you guys in the Middle East, don't bash your heads in, you know, with each other. Team up against the enemy, the real enemy. And this is the real enemy of both of you, of the Muslims and the Hebrews. So team up, get together and fight the real enemy. These ones here in Switzerland with their banks and their Templars. Okay, peace up, eh? The Olympic logo is a Freemason and Pharaonic symbol, where the rings symbolize them holding together against us, as in a chain of command, or one for all and all for one. As the Templars said, unus pro omnibus, omnes pro uno, meaning one for all and all for one, showing at the ceiling of the Swiss Templars Parliament, with the Templars flag in a simplified way in the same colours in the middle. Watch the Pharaoh show from Guy, which explains more. G-I-U-R-E-H. And out of the Templars came the Freemasons. The Vesica is a Pharaonic word, meaning to be alone, place, soul. Ve-si-ka. We further on find the Vesica in the Gucci logo, showing the Freemason G 2 times, in negative and in positive. What is up is down, and what's down is up. Swiss Coop supermarkets, MasterCard, with exactly the same colours as the Swiss supermarket chain. Audi, the Illuminati car from Ingolstadt in Germany, where Adam Weishaupt came from, and many others. So do know who the gods really are, for whom you're going to run in circles.